of love of God is, he says, "Man of truly religious cultures may be compared with children at the age of 8, who need Father as a helper, but who begin to adopt his teachings and principles in their lives. Contemporary man is like a child of 3, who cries for Father when he needs him, and otherwise is quite self-sufficient when he can play." That was kind of his conclusion on love of God, and it's a kind of criticism of a modern man. The love of God section is probably my least favorite section of the book, but it doesn't take up a huge aspect of it, and it's definitely worth a read. What is probably my favorite section of the book is where Fromm talks about our Western society and capitalism, and how that relates to, or directly kind of determines how we love, according to Fromm. And it's interesting his stance on this, because he's actually a psychologist and not a philosopher. So unlike a philosopher who kind of deals in universal truths most of the time, Fromm just talks about Western society and how our society affects our love affairs. And what he talks about mainly is capitalism, and how we kind of see ourselves and our potential lovers as commodities. He says, "Modern man has transformed himself into a commodity. He experiences his life energy as an investment, with which he should make the highest profit, considering his position and the situation on the personality market." And what's kind of funny is, when you're thinking about this, it's almost like you could kind of take a whiteboard, and I could write out my personal traits that I find, my positive personal traits that I think another member of the opposite sex might find attractive. And if it's almost like I could take this whiteboard and carry it around, school or town or bar, wherever, and I can carry that board around and try to find someone, try to find a girl who likes my qualities and who has qualities that I can get with, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a blunt and brutal criticism of modern love, but that's kind of how it is. So I think it's definitely interesting to read. And on that note, he talks in depth about, quite extensively, about capitalism and how we see love as commodities. And he says that this is how people kind of see themselves when they're out looking for a relationship or a partner in modern society. Quote, "I am out for a bargain. The object should be desirable from the standpoint of its social value, and at the same time should want me, considering my overt and hidden assets and potentialities. Two persons thus fall in love when they feel they have found the best object available on the market, considering the limitations of their own exchange values." End quote. And I just think that whole section in this book is probably the best part of the book. He's talking about our exchange values in the personality market. It's almost laughable how accurate that is. And then he talks about his conclusion on love is that to love means to commit oneself without guarantee, to give oneself completely in the hope that our love will produce love in the loved person. Love is an act of faith, and whoever is of little faith is also of little love. And that actually kind of makes a lot of sense too, because when you think about it, when you go back to the beginning, innate loneliness, you're thinking about two separate individuals, and you're only one aspect of that. So faith is a critical part of it, and that's kind of what the last 2 chapters are on: is faith and love and trust. And it's definitely a good read if you're interested on the topic. And even if you're going to read on the topic, I think that Fromm is an interesting place to start, because he's a psychologist, and as I said, it's kind of more narrowed down and specific to the culture that we currently live in. So yeah, Fromm's The Art of Loving. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Definitely a good read. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a good night.